Hello everyone, welcome to JCE eConnect Computer Graphics Lab. So in today's session, we will be discussing about the third program of our Computer Graphics Lab, that is to draw a color cube and spin it using OpenGL transformation matrices. Okay, so what we are supposed to do here is to draw a color cube, number one, and number two is to spin it using a OpenGL transformation matrices. So these are the two tasks that we have to accomplish in this experiment: to draw the color cube and to spin it using the transformation matrices. Now this experiment is very easy. Again, most of the concepts that we have seen in our lab experiment number 1 and experiment number 2 has been repeated, or the concepts remain same. So let's not waste much time and directly jump onto the execution part, the code. Let us understand the code because the algorithm is not so complex, because underlying concepts are almost the same as our objective number 1 and 2. Only by understanding with the code we can understand, we can learn this experiment. So just let's move on to the code. The headers are included to access the OpenGL library, and this is the variable which will have matrix that holds the vertices and color of the vertices of the cube. White polygon here is a function used to draw the color cube with 4 vertices in a parameter. A GL begin is a type of primitive to draw a polygon. It fills the region inside the matrices with the color of the vertices. A GL color 3F attribute used to color the vertices, which is mentioned. GL begin and GL end is where the polygon is drawn. White color cube is a function to draw the cube. Now this function polygon with these parameters, this polygon function is called 6 times because there are 6 faces in a cube. Each parameters corresponding parameter in a polygon function. Now here the static GL float is to mention the angle of rotation along each axis, that is the theta value. The static GL int axis equal to 2, where it can be 0 or 1 also. Here default rotation is given along z axis. Void display function is to display the function, display the content. GL clear clears the background which takes the argument that is bitwise or of several value, or the GL depth buffer bit, that is which buffer to be cleared. Here the GL color, GL underscore color underscore buffer underscore bit is a constant which indicates that the buffer currently enables for the color writing. GL underscore depth underscore buffer underscore bit is used for 3D objects when need to be displayed, and the GL load identity will replace the current matrix with the identity matrix. GL rotate F is the translation operation. Each parameter specifies the angle of rotation of the degree. That is it specifies the angle of rotation in the degree form. It specifies these x, y, and z coordinates of vectors of their vectors respectively. Okay, so the color cube function here is called and glut swap buffer function. The content of glut swap buffers then becomes undefined. The update typically takes place during the retrace of the monitor rather than immediately. The glut swap buffers is called then. Now this white spin cube is a function that this line in this function, that is theta axis plus or equal to 2.0, that is theta axis equal to theta axis plus 2.0, will spin the cube to every 2 degrees above the selected axis. Now glut post display marks the current window which has needed to redisplay. It displays the view function again and again. So the white mouse function, this function is a mouse callback, selects an axis about selects an axis about which to rotate. Now here this statement show that x-axis rotation. Now this line shows the y-axis rotation. Okay, and this line shows the z-axis rotation. Okay, now void my reshape function is a common reshape function for all the programs when maximization button is pressed, that is the plus button. Now this GL viewport is a command for the aspect ratio, and GL matrix mode has got two projections, that is GL projections and the GL model view. A GL projection view defines the properties of the camera that views the object in the coordinate frames. Here the GL model view defines how your objects are getting transformed into the world. It coordinates the frame, and GL ortho is an orthogonal projection that is lines are parallels to each other, and depending on height and width the window is resized while computing the if else condition. Lastly, the main function, which consists of two arguments, that is int argc, which is a argument counter, and argv, it's the vector that holds the number of sequence of arrays. Now glut init needs both double buffering and Z buffering. The ampersand argc is the address for the argument counter, and argv is the array itself. Now this glut init display mode sets the initial display mode. Glut underscore double, which means the two buffers are used. This means that it is the bitwise, or here the glut underscore RGB indicates the color mode, that is red, green, blue, and glut init window size defines the window size, sets the initial window position and the size. Glut create window sets the creates the window with the name, color, cube view, or any name that you like to give. The glut reshape function, the glut display function, and glut mouse function are callback function. Glut idle func is a global idle. It sets the global idle callback. So a glut program can perform the background processing tasks. This GL enables the depth of the bit. The glut main loop is a event processing loop. The routine should be called at most once in the glut program. Once it is called, this routine will never return. Now let us see the output of this. Here is how the output of our program looks like, right? Okay, that's all for today's lecture. If you have any doubts, any queries, please let me know either in the comment section down below or in the WhatsApp group, and those queries will be addressed. So practice more such questions, and you can try to alter the values and try to give different values so that you can analyze how the things are getting processed, and as and when you change the values, you'll see the change in the output. Okay, so that's it for today's lecture. Thank you.